welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa and today I'm going to be showing you how to properly pick up and place a lash extension, and also as well I'm going to be teaching you the different types of fans that you can make, and also I will teach you how to make a spike for your wispy set. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Here is my beautiful mannequin. We're going to be working on her today, and just to show you the tools that we have, I have my lash tray right next to me, and here I have my classic lashes along with some 0.05 lashes, and I will be showing you which ones those are in a moment. Right now, this can focus. There you go. So the top three strips are classic lash extensions, and this diameter is typically thicker, so these are 0.15s that I'm using here. And make sure to have two different lash tweezers. The ones that I just put down, those are I specifically used for my classic, and these that I'm holding, these golden tweezers, I use them specifically only for my thinner diameters, which is going to be a 0.05 to a 0.03. So yeah, just make sure that you have two different tweezers, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to dull down our tweezers, because the classic lashes, since they're a little thicker, they can file down your tweezer, and then you won't be able to pick up your thinner diameters like the 0.05s or 0.03s anymore. So yeah, be sure to choose your tweezers wisely. Alrighty, so the next thing that you're going to need is going to be your adhesive and your glue ring. I like using this type of glue ring specifically, and I will be showing you how to use that in a little bit. Next is the eye patches, and we're going to be putting that under our fake eyes on our mannequin, just to make this practice feel a little bit more real. So this adhesive is really amazing. I really love it. It does have a dry time of 0.3 to 0.5 seconds, so if you're looking something kind of in the medium intermediate level, this is a perfect glue. So yeah, like I said, I'll leave a link below, but yeah, that's what we're going to be using for today. Okay, and yeah, like I said, I'll show you guys how to use this glue ring. It has the ridges, and yeah, so let's go ahead and dive in and I'll show you how to use this. Okay, so now we're just going to be opening up our eye patches and applying it to our mannequin. And if it makes you feel more comfortable, you can totally cut up the eye patches to make it more comfortable. Like you can cut little slits into it to make it more flexible, or cut off the inner corner, like here, you know how it's hanging out, you could cut that off or something. I don't do it just because for the sake of time, and I really don't. I will just struggle. I just want to struggle. It's fine. But no, so now you see we have our eye patches on. You can just find little ways to help your process, just like cutting in little slits, you know, it helps. But yeah, so now we're going to be dropping in 2 drops of our adhesive into our glue ring. Just that's all you need, and be sure to be burping your glue, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to have air bubbles inside your glue, because that will cause it to go bad quicker. So yeah, always make sure to clean off the top and everything, and then yeah, close it back up and put it into an airtight container and you are set. Okay, so now pick up your classic lash tweezer. So to pick up your lash extension, you're going to want to pull the extension towards you. So you find a sweet spot and you pull it towards you, and now you have the extension. And I'm going to show you a few times on how to pick it up, that way y'all can really see well. But you see I kind of grab it a little bit above the middle section, just so whenever you're ready to place, you can place it right. A little tip for isolating is that I use my classic extension to help me move the other extensions out of the way. So sometimes, you know, it helps having 3 isolation tools, and of course that is way before you put any glue on it. But yeah, so then we dip it into our glue and we place the extension, and if it moves around, you just kind of have to direction it a certain way and hold that. You gotta hold it to where you want it to be directed towards. Like if you just let it fall to the right side, then it's gonna look floppy. But if you want it to be straight, you need to push that extension straight and hold it there just for a few seconds, just until that glue fully dries, and then just let it go. Alrighty, so let's pick up another extension, and just remember, we're gonna be pulling it towards us, not right, left, or up, but towards us. Okay, like if you're pulling it off the strip, but towards us, and also not straight up. It needs to be towards us, because it will give you way more control of your extension when you pull it that way, and it will come off the strip just beautifully. Okay, so now same thing, we just isolate, use our classic lash to isolate, we dip it, and we don't dip the whole entire thing, we dip just a little bit, just enough to get some glue on there. You should not see a whole blob or a ball of glue on your extension. That is not what you want when you're dipping your extension, so just make sure you are dipping a third of your extension in it. It should be a little less than halfway. Yeah, because at halfway, then you're going to get all your lashes stuck together, and you do not want that. Yeah, don't use your extension like a spoon, like as if you were trying to pick up some soup or something. You just want to dip it like you're dipping your toes in the sand or dipping your toes in the water or whatever. That's the best explanation I can come up with. But yeah, that is what you want. Just a small little dip, okay? And yeah, then you place, and that's it. Use all of your tweezers to your advantage. So what I do is, like, whenever I'm placing it and I'm trying to keep the direction the way that I want it, I close my tweezer and I move it to the direction that I want it to face, and then you hold it for a few seconds and then you let it go. Okay, so that is what we're trying to do. And I always go back and I check, make sure that my classic lash is placed on correctly, that is not like you don't see any gaps in between the base of the extension and the natural lash. You do not want to see any gaps, because if you see gaps, then that lash is going to come off after she leaves, or even when you brush it through, it's going to fall right off. So always make sure you're double checking your work. Go back and check, did it stick on well? And yeah, so that's what I always do whenever I'm placing classic lashes. Okay, another thing, I know I said this earlier, but I have to emphasize, you need one specific tweezer for your classic lashes. Like this tweezer I use from those first top 3 strips, and then this tweezer I use it for my thin lash. Okay, so always make sure to have your tweezers that you can switch out, because you don't want your volume tweezers getting filed down and then you're asking yourself, well, why isn't it picking up these extensions anymore? It's because if you're using them for classic lashes as well, that's what's gonna happen. Okay, so now we're getting ready to pick up our volume lashes, and the same thing goes, you pull it towards you. Okay, so I just grab as many lashes as you're gonna grab and you pull towards you. Okay, not up, right, left, again, just towards you. Okay, and if you see a little lash like that, just go ahead and take it off. That's all it is. And then okay, now you see how much I have. We're gonna fan it out, which I use the pinching method a lot. So we're just gonna pinch and fan it out like a little, like a fan or something, like a flower, I guess you could say. But yeah, so here we go. And you always adjust the base just to make sure that no lashes are poking out, because we do not want to be placing some lashes that are poking out on our client. You want the base to be very straight as possible. We don't want nothing poking our client. So yeah, and that's how you use the ridges. You just place your base through the ridges to make it really, really tight. Depending on how much you pinch the lashes, you will create either a closed fan or an open fan. So a closed fan is more ideal if you don't want a lot of fluff for your volume set. But if you want a lot of fluff, then it's wiser to pick doing open fans. So here I'm showing you guys how I'm making a closed fan. So with this method, you're just pinching just enough just so you can fan out the lashes, but you don't want to create a whole bunch of fluff. What I do is I press my tweezer against my index finger. That way it doesn't open up too much. And just to make sure that that base is snatched, you put it through the ridges and get all that excess off of your extension. Now for making volume fans, my favorite method to use is the crystallizing method. So this basically is whenever you dip your extension, when you dip your volume extension into the adhesive, you take off the excess glue, right? That way it doesn't become too thick. I go and I isolate, and then I re-dip, and then I place. I like doing this method a lot more just because I can assure that my base is going to stay snatched whenever it gets on the natural lash. Yeah, so this method just helps keeping all the lashes in place while you are isolating. You can do it the other way as well, where you are making your fan and then you isolate and then you dip into the glue and then place straight away. But for me it just works the other way because I feel like I do have more control of my base and it becomes a skinnier base for me. And plus it's easier whenever you go to take off the extensions. You won't have to struggle as much and taking off the extensions whenever it's time for a refill rather than placing the extensions. So this just helps me. It's my way of doing the lash extensions. Everybody has their own way, but yeah. So here we did a open fan. Here I am pinching a lot more. You can see that it's a lot more open. It's wider, it's fluffier, and yeah, so we just pinch a little bit more. We pinch more towards the bottom to really open up those lashes and make it look more like a flower bouquet, right? So yeah, here we're doing the crystallizing method once again, and we're just gonna place. The biggest difference with the closed fan and an open fan is that the lashes for a open fan will start to separate a little bit lower than the mid shaft of the extension. Now the closed fans, they will start to separate a little bit longer, like a little taller, a little over the mid shaft, maybe in the middle, depending on how open or closed you want it, but typically it's like around the midsection that they will start to open up and fan out. So here you can see the difference. You see how it's for the closed fan, the lashes are close together in a higher section rather than the open fan where you can see that they come together at the very bottom rather than at the top. So yeah, this is the typical difference between these two fans, and that will really depict what kind of set you're giving your client, a more fluffy set or a more tame set. Alrighty, so now I'm going to teach you how to create a spike. So a spike really is just picking up however many lashes you want and pulling it straight directly off the strip, just like that, directly towards you, and you just keep those lashes together. You do not fan, there's no fanning in this, you just go straight into dipping. Okay, you just dip straight up and down, get enough of the adhesive on there, clean off the excess, and you pinch it kind of through the ridges, just enough to make it kind of skinny at the bottom, because we don't want to keep a thick base. That's what we want to avoid. We want to keep a thin base. We want the very thin base. That way whenever we place, it won't feel as heavy for your client whenever they go to close their eyes. There's more space given at the base, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so we just go off and directly place onto our extension. So yeah, that is how you make a spike. Now here I'm gonna make a fan using the bouquet method. Now this doesn't involve any pinching, it's just picking up the lashes directly off the strip. You dip into the adhesive and you kind of shimmy the lashes and the ridges to create a closed fan. This is the best method to making closed fans. Making open fans is a little more trickier with this method, but yes, this one I like to use it if I'm in a cut for time. I like to really use this method a lot whenever I am trying to just apply as many lashes as I can in a short amount of time. So here it is again, we just pull it off the strip like so, and then we just dip. And yeah, this is me attempting to make a open fan. It is a little harder, but you will get it once you just try again. Like I said, I usually use this method more for making closed fans than open fans, just because I like using closed fans a lot for my sets. But in case you were wondering how to make a open fan, it's basically the same thing, but you just dip the bottom part of the extension and try to make it as open as you can. But yeah, here's my little wonky open fan. We can try it again. But yeah, so that is basically how you use the bouquet method. This just doesn't involve any pinching. That's the difference, is with one method you pinch and the other one you just go straight into dipping it, and you're using the ridges to really help you kind of fan the lashes. So as you can see here, I just made a beautiful bouquet, hence the bouquet method. But yes, that is how you're able to use that method to your advantage. This is typically, I guess, called a closed fan, so Yeah, like I said, it's easier to make closed fans using this method. But yeah, if you do want to make it an open fan while it's drying, in that sense, as soon as you dip it, try to be fast with it and use the other tweezer to open your fan if you would really like to create open fans. So here's kind of the front view of what your client would see whenever they look in the mirror. Here you can see the difference between the classic lashes, the spike, the closed and open fans. So there you are able to kind of see what effect it all gives. So you see how the closed fans are a little bit more, they take up less space rather than an open fan will take up way more space. So an open fan is just going to make your set a lot more fluffier than your closed fan. And here's a close up from our view, from the lash artist view of this whole thing. But yes, as you're making your lashes, this is what you would be seeing. But yeah, I'm hoping you guys are gaining a lot of information from this video. If you do want me to dive in more into other types of methods, if you've seen other methods that you would like me to try, please leave them in the comment section below. I love finding out new ways to make things, new methods. But yeah, so here is a little bit on how I make my fans, how I make my sets, and I hope that it does help you guys a lot with when you're making your sets, that you got some information off of today. And one last thing to remember is that whenever you're making these fans, please make sure that you don't have any lashes sticking out, because you don't want to harm your client's natural lash line and you don't want to irritate it having it poking their eyelashes. Always make sure to keep the base 1 or 2 millimeters away from the base of your client's lashes, because what you do not want to do is you do not want to place these extensions on any of their skin. You don't want to place them too close and they're gonna, you don't want your clients to be complaining about their eyes being irritated. You want to make sure that you are leaving a good amount of space away from the client's lashes, okay? Also, be sure to have different tweezers, that way you don't file down your volume tweezers whenever you are picking up your classic lash extensions, because what you don't want to do is ruin a really nice pair of tweezers, or find out once you're doing your client's lashes that your tweezers aren't picking up and it's going to be very difficult. Yeah, use that glue ring to your advantage, and I will be linking everything below, that way you guys can go and purchase the stuff yourself as well, so you can practice. And today I did end up using my Nessie Studio lashes, so I will also leave that link below. But yeah, these lashes are amazing. I love them. They really give you that dark lash line that you're looking for. So here's a little preview of what they look like from the side. They are beautiful, and I am just so happy, in love with these lashes. I use these every day for all my clients. But yeah, like I said, linking everything below. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next Monday video. Bye.